greatest lie ever told. So we'll get into that in a little bit, explain a little bit about what that means. Death, the greatest lie ever told. And maybe you'll see sort of where I'm coming from. I'll put these on. To start with, I'm going to read a poem, although I've said before I'm crap at it. And this poem has been in a video lately as well, and if you heard it, you'll know which one it is. And it's called Ode, Imitations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood by William Wordsworth. So what I'm going to do is, rather than just do it off cuff, I'm going to insert it here. I'll read it and I'll put the words up, which will be a lot nicer, because if you can't understand what the hell I'm saying, you can read it. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting, the soul that rises with us, our life's star. Our head elsewhere it's setting, and cometh from afar. Not in entire forgetfulness, and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God who is our home. Okay, so that's the words to that poem. It's one that I've always loved, especially that one verse there, for many years. It falls into my beliefs of how I see things. Other people won't necessarily see the way I see things, but this isn't about trying to push Christianity or any other religion onto anybody, or paganism, or you name it, whatever you can come up with. This isn't to push any of that onto anybody. It's to give a little bit of a view of death. And is it a lie? Well, it depends in a way how you look at it. If we want to look upon death as a transition, an end, that the body lives and then it dies, and then we want to call that death, it's pretty fair. But a lot of people would look at death and say, yeah, death, or that, yeah, that's something that happens and then it, just a big black line afterwards, sort of thing. Whatever they think about departing, death is sort of a be all and end all, really, of things. And that's where I want to look at it, and look at it in the aspect of, is that really a bit of a lie? And maybe if it is a bit of a lie, why has it always been a bit of a lie? I find with lots of things in life, you can get lots of viewpoints and outcomes on things, and very often they're misunderstandings. 10 people can read something, 10 people could read that poem, and 10 people could be spot on as to how they see it, their view of how it pans out and everything. The only person that knows exactly the 100% 100% spot on view of that poem is William Wordsworth. So 10 of us, it is our individual views, even if they are parallel to each other or to a certain amount parallel and then veer off in different directions. So yeah, it can be a situation of where it's people's different views. It can also be a situation where people over centuries manipulate for their purposes, and if by manipulating it it's an advantage to them in some reason, way or another, then yeah, it'll be manipulated. And one way it can be manipulated is if we say, if you don't do this, death comes along and this is what you get. Someone else will say, if you do this or you don't do this, death comes along and this. People will manipulate anything. Whatever they want to do, they will manipulate. I can tell you why my hair's this short, which is because I flipping have it cut this short. But if I want to manipulate people, I can give countless reasons to why, and to why people should care or not care or whatever. People manipulate. I want to look at some of the things as to why death, as lots of people look at it, doesn't suddenly stop. Yes, we're in a world where everything dies. Everything has its time and place and will eventually die. Even the world is its time and place and eventually it will die. Now whether or not people want that to happen or not want it to happen, feel that we're helping towards it or not helping towards it, whatever we do, even if we treat the world perfectly, it will have its time and place. It's the way things are. So yeah, does everything stop at that point? Now, like I said, I'm not going to try and convince anybody of anything. I'm just going to put some of my views over from my knowledge and things in my life that will maybe help people to understand a little bit more or not. Is life unique to a certain section, to human beings, not to anything else? Well, we know that's not true. So is there a purpose to this life, or are we just there? Now you'll get lots of answers on that. People will say, of course there is. Some people say, no there isn't. Some people say there's a purpose. Some people will say there's no purpose. Some people will say there's an eternal view and reason to all this. Other people will say, no really, we're just here to bring the next lot along, and then they'll bring the next lot along. It's a little bit like people look at insects and that and say the only purpose to live is to breed and then potter off, let the next lot breed and potter off. At the end of the day, you have to say to yourself, is there a reason to that? What is the point of it? Is that totally bloody pointless. What would be the point of anybody as a human being coming onto this planet, procreating, so somebody follows them and then goes off, leaves the next one behind, they do the same thing. For what? What is the purpose of that? There isn't any real purpose of it, apart from keeping your immortality going, I suppose. So is there more to it than that? Is this an eternal thing that each individual goes through? I happen to believe it is. I happen to believe we come from somewhere to here, from here to somewhere else, and it's a progression, and we're here for a purpose. And if you, I'm not going to go into all the details, but if you look at all the complexities of life, all the things that we go through, all the things that we learn, all the things that we have to suffer and not suffer, the happy, the sad, the mediocre things of life that mould us. We're not being moulded for nothing. We're not growing for nothing. If we just come to this earth to procreate, toddle off, leave our procreation behind, to do the same, we don't have to bloody learn much, do we? We just have to learn to go, procreate, go, bye, I'm off. That's all we need to do. So why the complexity of an human being? Why from the word go to the end are we building all the time, intelligence wise, experience wise? We're a machine that's sucking everything in that's around us, if we're bloody sensible enough to do it, and become wiser and become stronger, become a better person, whatever we want to call it. We're on a path right from the beginning of growing and taking everything in. And you look at the things that people do in the world today, the inventions, the things we do, the complexities of everything. That isn't just out of the bloody blue. That is nothing to do with coming into this world, rearing children and bogging off. Because if we look at it that way, what it is, you say, why do we do that? Oh, it's to grow and to improve and to become more intelligent beings and that. Okay. Tell me, folks, are we more intelligent than we were 10 years ago? I mean, we learn, we become intelligent human beings, but as a whole, are we a better race than we were 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago? As far as I can see, looking at the world today, we're going freaking backwards. So it knocks a bit on the head that we're just there to reproduce and to grow and to get each generation makes us blossom more, because each generation we seem to be bloody wilting. Okay, so life. What is life? People sometimes use the word soul in the wrong place when they say, you've got a soul, I've got a soul, and they're talking about the spirit. The soul is the spirit and the body united together. So body, spirit, unite them together, that's your soul. So you say whether you're to look at scriptures or anything else, you say, oh yeah, body, oh yeah, a spirit, a soul, the soul, the body and the spirit united is the soul. So let's have a look at life. When does it come into the body? When does it leave the body? Right, I've done this in the past and I'm going to do it again. And here's a body. That's a body. Your body, my body, anybody. Look at the state of that. It's a pity I didn't have my wool ones because it'd be better than this. Bit floppier. Body. It's fantastic. It's a lovely body. Look at that shape and everything. Perfect. What's it doing? Nothing. Now, body, spirit. Let's put the spirit into this body. Now look what this body does. It's animated. It's come to its full potential. It can do whatever this body is intended to do. Beautiful thing. And it goes along and it learns and it grows and it learns all this sort of stuff until comes a time when the spirit leaves the body. And does that seem familiar? Why does a person come to the end of the life and the body is just, what do we call it? Lifeless. It's lifeless. What makes it lifeless? The spirit has left that body. Now, some of you will know what I'm talking about. Some people might not have experienced it yet. But for those that unfortunately have had to experience people passing in the life, that have gone to see someone that's passed, and this is that person laying there that has passed. When you look at that person, you tell me you don't look at them and you go, it's them, but they're not there. When you look at that body, yes, today, now, they use a lot of makeup and everything to make somebody look a little bit more still alive and presentable to people that come to see them. You want to see them looking like they were yesterday. But even with that, when you look at that body, it's them. Are they there? No. You can look at them and you know that they're not there. The body's there. Everything that made that person what they were, the love, the glints, the smiles, the joy, everything about that person is not there anymore. And why is it not there anymore? Because it's gone, and that is left behind. And that really is a little way of showing that with death there isn't such a thing really, that there is a laying down of a body and the body will go back to being what it was before. But the only difference is the spirit has left and the spirit continues it. And that's where most people get the problem, that once you pass from this world, they're not sure if there's anything afterwards. Now, for me, I'm sure, like lots of people, I've seen spirits. Spirits have communicated with me. Nothing to be frightened of. It's not like flipping Hollywood, and it's not like horror stories and all that sort of thing. I find it's a beautiful thing, and it's always been about love. Love, and that peace and love and everything goes where the Spirit, leaves all the other flipping trash and everything behind. And it's always been about that. So for me, I know that there's a carry on after this body lays down. The Spirit carries on. People will have different views then as to what happens, whether we pick the body back up again at a later time, or we go through eternity as a spirit, or whether we're, what's the word? Can't remember the word now. When you sort of come back as somebody else. But no, then you have to look at the situation of, we come into this world and we come with this thing within us, this little light, something like that poem is telling you. We come in with that, and this thing within us says, I come from somewhere, I come from afar, I come here. And now whether you want to say it's to God, which is our home, it's to whatever you believe in, it's up to you. But we have that little burning thing in here, like a little compass or magnet or whatever you want to call it, that makes us remember, slightly remember, and want to head back towards it. And we do that in lots of different ways through life, whether it's, like I said, Christianity, any other religion, any other form. But you'll find people that have a deep desire in there to worship something. They know that there is something out there, and it will come out in lots of different forms. If you go to the most remote places on this earth, find tribes that have never seen any other human beings for probably never. When you find them, they'll be worshipping a god, spirits, the sun, whatever it is. There's that desire in them to worship something that has given them life, and they'll have this little nagging compass in there that says, I've come from somewhere and I'm going back. Where is it? And another thing, over the years, the amount of people that are atheists that have said, or I've seen people write it down, say, there's nothing. No, there's nothing. I don't believe in anything. I really don't. There's nothing. No, that's up to them, or whatever. But they say that, and then they say, when you die, that's it. Black, nothing else. But I really hope that there is something, or I really hope I'm wrong and there is something. Now that little bit at the end, that little flash, is that compass there that's saying, I came, I'm here for a purpose, I'm going somewhere. So however much you fight it, that little compass there is there for a purpose, and it's to make you go. I don't know where, but I was somewhere. I'm not quite sure why I'm here, but I'm here and I'm doing what the hell I can to make it right. And I'm going somewhere, or there's something in there that's putting it there. Whether or not you put it into your life in any different way which you want to choose, or whether you want to totally deny it. But like I said, the amount of people that deny it, but when the push comes to the shove, they go, open wrong. Because that little thing's in there saying there is, but they just haven't got that strength in him to say to themselves, there is. Why the hell should I say there is? Don't make sense to me. I'm not going to say it. But yeah, so death really to me is the greatest lie ever told. We lay our body down, yes, but death as in death, no, it carries on. And even if I just go for the one reason that I have seen people that have passed on, and I'm not talking about being bloody stupid and just seeing flashes of light or something. I have seen people that have told me things for other people, and I've passed it on to other people. I'm not a medium. I couldn't care less about it. I'm not making money out of it or anything. It doesn't matter to me whether somebody believes what I've seen or not. I know I've seen it. So I know that when people have laid the body down, that is not it. So, without going into bloody great detail, which I know a lot more, but I don't really want to go into. I can just put these bits over to make you think and think, well, maybe, is there? And if you're somebody that maybe thinks, no, there isn't, just take time sometimes to sit back and consider it and think, what is the purpose? If there's nothing, what the hell am I doing here? And if all you can come up with is to procreate, then answer the question to yourself, why? Because it doesn't work that way. It doesn't get better and better. People get better, get bloody worse. And at the moment, the world is definitely going. So, folks, that's it. What you can make of that or not. But I'm going to make a flipping go with this, whatever. And as for me, I look at that person and I say, they're not there anymore. So where are they? They've not just died and laying there, they've gone. So think on that one. Catch you later.